Go.
Welcome. Today we will be discussing the Boston Tea Party, along with the Townshend Act and the Boston Massacre of 1770.
According to History.com, last night, December 16, 1773, an organization known as the Sons of Liberty disguised themselves as Mohawk Indians and boarded 3 ships, the Beaver, Dartmouth, and Eleanor, in the Boston harbor. They threw 342 chests of British tea into the harbor.
That's about 90,000 pounds of good tea. And it took them 3 hours to empty the 3 ships? Why would they do that?
They did it in protest of the raise in tax on British tea.
Wow, the British will be furious about all that tea going to waste. What happened? Did anyone get hurt?
No one seems to know for sure, but according to BostonTeaPartyShip.com, more than 100 people took part in pulling this off.
Were the people who were part of it caught?
So far, there has only been one arrest, Francis Ackley. He is a member of the Sons of Liberty. Everyone else involved in this event has remained silent.
Samuel Adams is the most well-known person to have participated in the Boston Tea Party. In fact, he was one of the leaders of the Sons of Liberty.
And they did all of this to protest the Tea Act?
Yes, according to the BostonTeaPartyShip.com, the Tea Act was passed 7 months earlier on May 10, 1773.
It caused a monopoly of tea sales in the American colonies for the British East India Company.
And the British thought that the Tea Act wouldn't make the colonists mad?
It's an act that forces us colonists to buy overtaxed tea from the British East India Company. The British did not intend for the colonists to get angry, but they did.
According to the BostonTeaPartyShip.com, the Tea Act was intended to be a bailout policy to get the British East India Company out of debt.
But the colonists shouldn't be responsible for that. The British seem to think they can solve all their financial problems by taxing us.
This isn't the first incident of colonial protests, though. Way back in 1768, a mob of colonists in Boston attacked customs officers for seizing merchant John Hancock's ship Liberty for alleged smuggling.
But, that's right. When that happened, 4 entire regiments were placed in Boston. I wonder what the British will do when they hear about this.
They certainly don't like us acting up against all their acts. The Tea Act is, after all, only the latest in a series of acts designed to make the colonists pay for the debt from the French and Indian War.
You mean the Townshend Acts? According to the Gale Encyclopedia of U.S. Economic History, the Townshend Acts were approved by Parliament in 1768. They were proposed by Charles Townshend, Chancellor of the Exchequer, and put a tax on imported goods like glass, lead, paint, paper, and tea.
The Townshend Acts, again, weren't meant to anger the colonists, but they did. We have word from one particular colonist from Pennsylvania, lawyer John Dickinson. He says that Parliament's attempts to impose duties solely for the purpose of generating income is a direct threat to the well-being of all Americans.
So much has gone on recently. It's gone from tighter British control to colonial resistance growing. Do you guys remember the Boston Massacre?
According to Luke, the Boston Massacre happened because of resentment against the Redcoats.
It did. On Monday, March 5th, 1770. A lot went down. It was on the front page of the Boston Gazette.
It happened on King Street. Tension filled the streets when the Redcoats arrived.
It seemed to me to be very intense, because according to Dickinson, as the evening wore on, more gangs appeared in the streets. Fighting started from townspeople and soldiers.
General Thompson Gage sent 1,000 British soldiers to Boston.
Also, according to Dickinson, groups of youths and dock workers, among them Crispus Attucks, started trading insults in front of the custom house, which started some fighting. Attucks and 4 laborers were killed. This caused the Sons of Liberty to call the shooting the Boston Massacre. They claim that those who died had given their lives for freedom.
I heard that the English captain made his way towards the Murray's barracks. He found the path barred by a shouting, whacking, free-for-all battle.
Some of the Bostonians were wounded by bayonets. There had even been a danger that more stuff would happen.
Exactly. The Boston Massacre was very violent. The English captain ordered his men into barracks and shut the gates. He even made a promise that no soldiers would be let out for the rest of the evening.
That was a very chaotic and eventful night. It became a key point in anti-British information in newspaper articles, pamphlets, and posters.
Seems to me like the colonists and redcoats don't get along very well.
I know, right? According to Luke's, freedom in this new land is their prized possession. Colonists want more freedom.
After a little while, it turned into a huge street fight. The Patriot mob and a squad of British soldiers were constantly throwing snowballs, stones, and sticks, causing many lives to be taken from the colonist side.
And this concludes our presentation.